Hello, baseball fans. Welcome to the Eighth Inning Stretch. I'm AJ. He's Carson. Happy Sunday morning to those of you on the live stream, and happy whatever day it might be for the rest of you who are listening on your favorite podcast platform. We're live as we are almost every Sunday morning on YouTube, on Twitter, and on demand anytime at Linktree/Eighth Inning Stretch. Don't forget to follow us at Eighth Inning Pod on Twitter. And for more, including our newsletter blog, Two Strike Count, which you can get delivered right to your inbox every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday by subscribing, and our original documentary series, The Book of Baseball, which, oh boy, we're going to talk about that here in a second because, wow, you guys. Book of Baseball, head to eightinningpod.com. And don't forget to help us support the show using the QR code on your screen or at eightinningpod.com/donate. If you are watching this on YouTube, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Whew. Okay, spiel over. So Carson and I we were talking a little bit before we came on. Both of us are in great moods. My Bruins won Game 7 against the Maple Leafs. Sorry, Toronto fans. Maybe next year will be the year. And Carson's Timberwolves laid a beatdown on the defending NBA champion Denver Nuggets.
Yeah, it was a great sports weekend all around, and we are still celebrating the joys of our respective teams' victories, and good start for the T-Wolves, and now we go into Bruins Panthers, which should be a fun series.
Yes, bring on the Florida Kittens. I mean Panthers. It's revenge time. It's been a mostly good sports weekend. If only my Red Sox and Mariners would get their act together and play consistently. Although my Mariners did shut out the Astros, so that was nice. Meanwhile, Carson's Twins have been beating up on my Red Sox. So, hey, whatever. Can't have it all. Win some, lose some, right? It's a long season. It's a sprint. It's a marathon, not a sprint, all that stuff. So lots and lots to get to. Before we get started, though, do you want to talk, Carson, real quick about Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month, which is now underway. I'm a really big fan of these heritage months. This one I feel gets a little overlooked. And I'm not quite sure why. But I don't know, maybe it's just me. That I feel like this one gets a little overlooked for some reason.
Yeah, I don't necessarily disagree with that. I think it does definitely get a little bit overlooked, but obviously a very, very important month, and like you said, heritage months in general are important because it's always good to have that little, it's always good to remember your heritage, remember where you came from, and there are so many, and especially I feel like this one hits a little, not necessarily a little bit closer to home, but especially during after kind of the whole thing with COVID, there was a lot of not so great stuff being projected towards Asian Americans in particular, which is not cool. So happy Heritage Month to all of you
Yes,
who may be listening, who will be celebrating this month. Enjoy it, have some fun, and maybe take a moment to learn a little bit about, maybe learn something about your heritage that you didn't know before, because it's always a pretty cool to kind of stumble down the family tree or the heritage tree.
Yeah, absolutely. Because sometimes there's some cool secret hidden in your family tree that you didn't even know was there. So which that's always cool to find. And if you're looking for a kind of a cool way to celebrate, I would highly recommend. I don't know if it's I don't know if they've made a movie or they're going to make a movie. Anyways, I would check out. It's probably, you know what, you could probably watch it on YouTube. It's a musical. It's called Allegiance. It was actually created and inspired by the story of the great George Takei and his family's experience with being put in a Japanese American internment camp during World War II. I won't lie to you guys; it's a bit of a tough watch because of what it's about, but I mean it's a great watch anytime, but I feel like especially especially now with with it being Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month, and talk about forgotten stories from history. Everything, all the horrible things that Japanese Americans went through during World War II with the internment camps and whatnot. So it's a bit of a tough watch, but it's 100% worth it. It's a great story, and I mean, I'm Carson. I don't know about you, but I'm a George Takei season ticket holder no matter what. So
Absolute legend is George Takei.
yes, yeah, he is a rock star. Got to meet him at a convention some years ago. Yes, and he's as cool as you'd expect. So, anyways, so yeah, so happy AAPI Heritage Month to everyone celebrating, and yeah, so let's talk some poll results. So we did something a little different with the poll this week. We asked you guys what your favorite part of the show was. You guys are shameless. So we asked you what your favorite part of the show was, and the choices were the hosts, us, the banter, the mailbag, buy or sell, one last thing, and we gave you an other option. 33% of you said the hosts, 31% of you said banter. Carson, if I didn't know better, I would think our fans are trying to butter us up.
You guys, you old sweet talkers over there, you. But that, obviously that is something that means a lot. Whether it is to try and butter us up or not. Obviously, again, the main reason we're able to do this is for you guys, and
Yep.
very happy that you guys like us and like our banter, because at the end of the day, AJ, this is just us being ourselves. Like,
Yeah, no.
we're no different. We're no different off air
Nope.
than we are on air.
Nope. I'm glad. Well, yeah. Well, I'm glad you brought that up because, I feel like, yeah. No, that's a great point actually. Yeah. This is us guys. Like, we are quite literally just a couple of baseball geeks talking and bantering about our favorite sport and our favorite game. That's it. Like, yeah. All too often with media personalities, they're completely different people, off the camera or off air, and we're not. So but yeah, anyways, 33% of you the host, 31% the banner, mailbag, 20% buy or sell, 14%, one last thing, 2%, and other nobody, 0%. I feel like these results are a bit skewed. I think you guys are just trying to flatter us, which, hey, flattery will get you everywhere. But as always, thank you for voting in the poll. And no, thanks you guys, seriously, because we say it all the time. We wouldn't be doing this. We couldn't do this without you. So, we will have a new poll for you guys tomorrow. So, keep an eye out for that. All right, I mentioned the book of baseball at the beginning of the show in our spiel. Holy crap, you guys. So the first episode, if you didn't know, the first episode of the book of baseball is out. It's called Curse Reversed. Because how could I could I possibly launch my baseball documentary, Carson? What other way could I launch it other than an episode about the 2004 Red Sox?
I mean, there is no other way.
There was no other choice. Yeah, there was no other choice. The first episode had to be about the 2004 Red Sox and their comeback against the Yankees. So that is available now, exclusively only at eighthinningpod.com/book of baseball. But yeah, I mean, I guess I shouldn't be surprised, Carson. I shouldn't be surprised at this point by anything that our fans do. But you guys have watched that first episode. I don't even know what the number is now, but I think it was, I think it was something within the first hour, like over 500 of you had watched it or something. Which is, I mean, one that's just unbelievably that's just humbling and yeah. I don't even really know what to say about that. And two, that's absolutely incredible. So thank you, all of you, for the support you've shown already, even though we've only done one episode. But yeah, no, seriously, I'm here. I am. You guys are making me speechless. I never in my wildest dreams would have imagined that it would get that much support. I mean, a baseball documentary is something I've wanted to do for a long, long time. And honestly, without my illustrious co-host over here, Carson, and without producer Tasha, the Book of Baseball and this entire thing, the show, the podcast, the blog, everything would just be a kernel, would still be just a kernel of an idea in my head. So shout out to both of you, and shout out to all of you who have supported us from the get-go. But anyways, my other point was, we do have another episode of the Book of Baseball coming soon. It's coming out, yeah, maybe if I knew the release date. Sorry guys, I had it and now I don't. May 17th. Yeah, coming out May 17th. The episode's called The World Series That Wasn't. And it I have a very nice little blurb here if I could find it. Yeah, The World Series That Wasn't comes out May 17th. The 1994 MLB season was in full swing when a labor dispute brought things to a screeching halt. Negotiations failed, and the rest of the season, including the World Series, was canceled, making it the World Series that wasn't. So it's about the 94 season and the strike that ended the season and canceled the World Series. Again, that comes out May 17th. And that'll be available streaming only at eighthinningpod.com/book of baseball. So keep an eye out for that. So we're basically going to do one episode a month. Is the plan. Total of 5 episodes. And I had, where is it? Here we go. Yeah, so May 17th is the World Series that wasn't. June 21st will be the summer that they say baseball, about the 98 home run race between Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa that sort of, brought everyone back to baseball after the strike in 94. July 19th, I'm looking forward to doing all of these, Carson, but this is the one I'm looking forward to the most. July 19th, Don't Blame Bartman.
Ooh.
Yeah. That's I mean, like I said, I'm looking forward to doing all of these, but that one in particular stands out. That one's going to be a lot of fun. And a bit sad because of, obviously that everything that happened with Steve Bartman and all of that. That's on July 19th, and then we'll wrap up Volume 1 of the Book of Baseball on August 16th with a Vive les Expos, how the Montreal Expos went from being the best team in baseball on the brink of winning the World Series to the cellar dwellers and relocation. And that one sort of indirectly kind of ties into the World Series that wasn't the May 17th episode because, of course, the Montreal Expos had the best record in baseball in 1994, and were World Series favorites before the strike happened. And of course, they were never the same after that, and wound up now they're the Washington Nationals. So, So, anyways, that's all coming for you guys again at eighth-inning-pod.com/book of baseball. So, stay tuned for that. The other little bit of housekeeping we've got for you, actually a couple of things for housekeeping. Obviously, Carson, we are off next Sunday. It's Mother's Day. So we're off so that everybody can have the day and celebrate all the awesome moms out there. And then you guys have been inundating us with emails and messages asking about the idea of having the live stream available directly on our website at Eighth Inning Pod. And I think it was last episode I told you that that's something we would look into. So good news is our streaming platform StreamYard. Yes, we can do that. StreamYard will do that. StreamYard does have the capability for us to embed the live stream directly on our website. It's a bit of work, so Carson, I think the only fair thing to do is we'll give it a try and see how it goes.
Yeah, I mean that's all we can really do, but we'll certainly try and make it work because once again, you guys are full of great ideas, and
yes, they are.
This is just the latest.
Yeah. You guys have had some awesome ideas over the time we've been doing this. I mean, the whole structure of the show is basically came down to to your guys' ideas. So yeah, we'll take it, we'll test drive it, we'll try it out, we'll see how it goes, we'll see how you guys how the engagement goes, how many views and whatnot we get, and we'll go for there. So that we'll probably try that out for our episode on the 19th. Our next episode, which is on the 19th, because again, we're off next Sunday for Mother's Day. So keep an eye out for that. And if you don't already, make sure you're following us on Twitter at Eighth Inning Pod, and getting all the latest updates. Or either that or subscribe to our newsletter, Eighth Inning Stretch, 2 Strike Count. Because when you get 2 Strike Count delivered to your inbox, you also get a little newsletter type thingy about all the latest stuff we've got going on. So okay. Oof. Housekeeping out of the way. Let's talk baseball. Let's talk Aaron Judge, Carson. Aaron Judge got himself in a little bit of hot water in yesterday's game against the Tigers. Fun baseball trivia. That was the first time in his career Aaron Judge has ever been thrown out of a game.
Look, I know that I have a Red Sox loving co-host over there, but at the same time, I also know I have an umpire hating co-host over there.
Yep.
What are we doing? Was that really worth an ejection? He looked at him and maybe said a couple of things, and the ump was like, okay, goodbye. Like, are we just getting to, are these guys just like, are they like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, and that if I poke them, like they're just gonna, their skin's just gonna go in? That's how soft they are. My God, baseball has got a problem. with these umpires. I will save a little bit of that
Yeah.
rant for my one last thing because it is umpire related. But like, what are we doing here? This is Aaron Judge we're talking about. Like from everything I've read and everything I've seen, he's the type of dude that if you bump into him causing him to spill his soda, he's going to say that it was his fault because he was in your way. Like that's the kind of dude that Aaron Judge is, and we eject him
Yeah.
for the first time in his career for doing nothing but looking at him and being like, that call was pretty bad, dude.
Yeah. I have kind of mixed feelings on, I mean, first, I mean, yeah, umpires have been, I mean, it's well documented. We've talked about it ad nauseum, how bad the umpires have been this year. I don't know if any of you caught that Cardinals game yesterday, where they went to a 3-hour rain delay and then only to come back and have CB Buckner call a game-ending third strike that was like a mile away from the strike zone. Yeah, no, we've got an umpire problem. We've been talking about it a lot. But in this case, specifically with Aaron Judge, I mean, yeah, I do think the umpire. What was this knucklehead's name, by the way? I'm looking at the article right now. Ryan Blakeney was the home plate umpire. Yeah, I think he was a little too quick on the draw. I do agree with some umpires being way too soft and, throwing a guy out of a game, without even, I mean, like the same sort of situation with last week with the Brewers where Freddie Peralta got tossed after hitting, didn't even get a warning after hitting a batter and got tossed without warning, which is ridiculous. Yeah, so this is from this is a quote from the umpire, from the crew chief, which take this with a grain of salt because obviously the umpires are going to stick together. But Alan Porter, the umpire crew chief, said, apparently Aaron did not agree with the pitch and said something that you shouldn't have said, and he was ejected. We do what we can to keep guys in the game, but he said something he shouldn't have said. Really, dude? I mean, I'm not surprised that an umpire is sticking up for another umpire, but I don't care what Aaron Judge said, Carson. I seriously doubt it was ejection worthy.
Yeah, Aaron Judge was even quoted as saying, "I've said a lot worse."
Yeah.
That was what he even said after he even said, he's like, I got a lot of respect for Ryan. Their jobs are tough. Like, again, genuinely the most downhearted guy. Like, and also AJ, I've a little real-time research. That was the first time that a Yankees captain has been ejected from a game since Don Mattingly in '94.
Oh my God. Wow. Jeter never got tossed, huh?
Jeter never got tossed.
Well, I guess I'm not really surprised. Jeter was a pretty level-headed dude. Yeah, I mean, I don't know I don't know what's going on with these umpires, and apparently they have it out for the Yankees because Carson, it was just the last episode we were talking about Aaron Boone getting tossed 5 pitches into a game because of something a fan said. And the umpire was basically like, "Oh, I don't care if you said it or not, you're getting tossed." Although to be fair, Aaron Boone does have a history of ejections. He's been, Aaron Boone's been ejected 35 times since 2018, which is the most among major league managers. But this, yeah, I mean, Carson, I'll admit, I know absolutely nothing about what it's like to be a major league umpire. I know, kind of like Aaron Judge said, I know it's a tough job, but it seems to me like if you're going to be a major league umpire, I mean, if you're going to be an official in any sport, but especially a major league umpire, because of the, major league umpires are in a unique, well, baseball umpires in general, but major league umpires particularly are in a unique position because there's more interaction between players and coaches and umpires than there is with any official in any of the other sports. But it seems to me like if you're going to do this job, you gotta have a little thicker skin.
Yeah, 100%.
And come on, dude. I mean, I know stars. I know star players shouldn't get preferential treatment, but come on, it's Aaron Judge. Like, this dude has no history of beefing with umpires. He's never been, according to this article, he's never been thrown out he's never been ejected at any level of baseball. All the way back to Little League. I can't believe I'm defending Aaron Judge or the Yankees, but in this case, I think I have to. This is ridiculous. I mean, like I said, Carson, we obviously don't want star players to get preferential treatment, but this is Aaron freaking Judge. Like, I mean, I could see if he had a history of having beef with umpires, but he doesn't.
Exactly. Yeah. Like,
all you got to do, I mean, if you're the umpire, all you got to do, so he said something to you. It couldn't have been that bad. All you got to do, let him walk back to the dugout, and move on with your day. But yeah. We won't get too much into umpires because I don't want to spoil Carson's one last thing. So that was that situation. Oh man. In other news, the Miami Marlins and the San Diego Padres pulled off quite the trade, a blockbuster trade, I would say, for the San Diego Padres. The Padres went out and got your boy Luis Ariz.
Yeah, the Luis is now a Padre. Wow, first and foremost.
Yeah, this kind of came out of nowhere. Like, this just popped up on the old timeline yesterday.
Yeah, just kind of out of the blue. I was, scrolling through the social media artists previously known as Twitter, and all of a sudden, Luis Ariz to the Padres. What?
Yep.
But first and foremost, obviously, that signals that the Marlins rebuild is underway.
Yeah.
And the first big move from this team since Kim Ng, very well be a sign of things to come. But I'm more curious about this trade from a Padres point of view, AJ, because we were talking a little bit about this before we went live.
Mm-hmm.
What exactly do you do with Luis Ariz? Because your middle infield, if you're the Padres, is already pretty loaded. You've already moved Xander. You've already moved Xander Bogaerts over to play second base, so you could put Ha-Seong Kim at short and have Manny Machado at third. You're not going to put Luis Ariz in the outfield. I can tell you that right now.
Nope.
So it's kind of like maybe. If you put him anywhere in the field, you might have to put him at first, but otherwise, like, even then, I guess he fits in at DH. He'd be a solid DH, but for a contact guy, but I don't know. It just creates a little bit of a logjam there.
I'm pretty sure that's, one, like we were talking about, if you're the San Diego Padres, this is a great problem to have. The other 29 teams in Major League Baseball would love to have this problem. I think you got to slot him in a DH. And I mean, where else you're not going to move. You're not going to move Bogaerts back to short because you've got Ha-Seong Kim there. I guess you could do that on a limited basis. I don't know that I've ever seen Luis Ariz play any other position other than second base. I mean, I'm sure he could, but I don't think I've ever seen him do it.
Yeah, it's either basically been second or DH for a majority of his career. He slotted in at DH last night in his first game as a Padre and went 4-for-6, excuse me, by the way.
Hit a double in his first at bat.
Yeah, just low key recorded 4 hits, no big deal. Because I mean, Jake Cronenworth has been on fire this season at first base, so you're not going to take him out. So he has to slot in at DH, but instantly this Padres lineup has become that much more lethal. Marlins fans, I'm so sorry. This is obviously I think this is something that like Marlins fans saw coming, but at the same time, it's something that I don't think any of us would have expected to see coming at the beginning of the season, because this team is still very loaded, but just got off to a rough start, and the front office decided, you know what, we're gonna pull the plug now. We know what we are, and just going from there essentially.
Got off to a rough start, and the Marlins are they've got a lot of guys out injured. So I mean, I kind of get it. Sucks for Marlins fans, especially after they had a really good year last year. They made the playoffs. Especially after last year, this has got a sting for the Marlins. I was actually just looking at Baseball Reference. Luis Arraez's positions are listed as second baseman, which is obviously his primary position. First base and third base. So you got a little versatility there if you're the Padres. Again, Jake Cronenworth, or as I like to call him, Drake, as I often mistakenly / intentionally call him, Jake Cronenberg. I mean, yeah, you got Jake Cronenworth at first. You've got Manny Machado at third. So I don't know. I guess you play a little musical infielders, and Manny Machado has DH'd before, so I don't know. It's a good problem to have if you're the Padres. But yeah, I mean, as far as the Marlins go, in exchange they got relief pitcher Woo Suk Go, and some prospects, Dylan Head, Jacob Marcy, and Nathan Martorella. So I mean, I think this actually, I mean, as much as it sucks, as much as it signals that the Marlins are basically thrown in the towel as far as this season. I mean, they got some prospects back. They got a relief pitcher back. I think this is one of those rare occasions where a trade was a win-win.
No, yeah, it was definitely a solid trade, especially Dylan Head now slots in at their, according to MLB Pipeline, slots in as their 5th best prospect in the farm system. Marcy and Martorella are 10th and 11th respectively. But I don't know, AJ, something with this, I question if the Marlins maybe could have gotten something a little bit more. Not saying that they lost this trade by any stretch of the imagination, but it feels like the Padres were able to keep a lot of kind of their more top prospects. And keep in mind, this is a guy who has won back-to-back batting titles in 2 different leagues. So I don't know. And a little bit of real-time research here as well, AJ, that Ha-Seong Kim actually has a mutual option after this year, so he could become free agent. So maybe
interesting.
Maybe there's a little bit of insurance there for Luis Arraez, and then if Ha-Seong Kim leaves in free agency, you slide Bogey back over to shortstop and then put Luis at second.
Okay. That's playing some 3D chess there, ladies and gentlemen, by the Padres. Yeah, I mean, obviously, speaking of winning trades, Carson, we were talking about this early. I think we can officially declare that your Minnesota Twins won the Luis Arraez trade, considering they got Pablo Lopez, one of the best pitchers in the American League. and the Marlins have now already traded Luis Urias after, basically one season.
Yeah, it's never thought that I would say that we won that trade, but it appears that way.
Yeah, I would now officially declare the Twins the winner of that trade. Oh yeah, I actually just saw the thing about Hassan Kim becoming a free agent. That's interesting. But yeah, I mean, for the Padres, this is wow, what a move. I mean, I think we expected Luis Urias would probably be on the move from the Marlins, but not this soon. But obviously, the Padres get another really good bat. They get a solid, defensive option. If they decide to go that route. I mean, I'm sure we'll see Luis Urias get some time in the infield. But this is a huge move. This already dangerous Padres lineup, Carson, just got better, which is bad news for the rest of the NL West.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, the dude goes out and goes, what did we say? He went 4 for 6 last night.
Yeah, 4 for 6.
Yeah. I mean, obviously you can't expect him to do that every time, but yeah, this is a big move. I like it. I like that I like the aggressiveness by the Padres to go out and get Luis Urias. Keep an eye on the Padres, ladies and gentlemen. The Padres their record might not reflect it right now, but the Padres are a really good team. They're built a little differently than they have been the last couple of years, but they're a really good team. So keep an eye on the Padres for sure. As we move along. And then last but not least in this little segment, this story did happen a few days ago. It's sort of fallen out of but it sort of plays into our theme of picking on umpires. A little controversy at the end of a recent Mets Cubs game, Carson. Pete Alonso making a break for home to score, I believe would have been the tying run. Called out at home plate. But upon further review, there may have been a little illegal blocking by the Cubs catcher.
Yeah, I have watched the footage of this play an unhealthy amount of times trying to figure out where I came down on it, because
you and I both. I've watched this. Yeah.
Because I mean, the broadcast angle of this play was not the best. The angle that we've seen circulating out of this was not the best, because there are people debating, oh, his hand came down before the tag. Even there are people debating about the blocking. But I think I finally kind of came to, I think that there was absolutely some blocking in play here. I mean, the fact that Alonso had to kind of reach his hand in between the legs to try and hit the bag, kind of for me kind of says there might have been a little bit of blocking there. The actual tag itself in Alonso's hand, I would not be able to tell you, because I lose his hand as it's kind of coming down on home plate. So that part of it, I have no idea if he was safe or out. And again, the hard thing about that is, not to. I feel like we've picked on umpires a lot this year, but at the end of the day, especially on a play like that, if the call, and this is the same way with like hockey games and everything else, if the call that's made on the field is out, you have to find insurmountable evidence to reverse the call. If you don't see any insurmountable evidence, then Bob's your uncle. There's your answer. But I don't know. I think that there was some blocking. I think that he was definitely blocked. I'm assuming it was Miguel Amaya at the plate, considering he's been the Cubs catcher this year. But But I think Amaya definitely had some blocking there. The tag itself, I couldn't tell you, but I think they got this one wrong. There was definitely some blocking there.
Yeah, so it used to be that, I mean, catchers blocking the plate was a common thing, and then we had we had some really scary collisions at home plate between runners and catchers, and so baseball, rightfully so, changed the rule that the catcher's not allowed to, block the, I mean, Carson, I don't know if I'm certainly old enough to remember this, but I think this was already kind of going out of style when you started watching baseball. But I mean, catchers used to practically go halfway up the third baseline.
Yeah, and
that was a thing. And like I said, we there were some really scary collisions. Some guys got hurt, so baseball was like, okay, no more blocking the plate. I mean, I've got the replay now. I'm actually watching it now, and Miguel Amaya. So part of one of the new rules about blocking the plate is the catcher is not allowed to stand on home plate. Miguel Amaya is standing on home plate. I mean, so by the very letter of the law, that's interference. I don't see the problem here. He's safe. Based on the, and you're right about Alonso's hand. I honestly, and this replay is from all the different angles. I honestly can't tell whether he got his hand there or not. But man, Carson, if I'm the Mets, I'm pissed.
and I'm sure that they I'm sure they were, as they should be. Because at the end of the day, AJ, do you know if they were specifically reviewing it for the tag or for the blocking? Because that also does change things.
I was actually just let's see. Okay, so I mean, oh man, just watching this, as soon as he's called out, the Mets are oh god, what's the Mets manager's name?
Carlos Mendoza.
Mendoza, thank you. As soon as Alonso's called out, he's out of the I've never seen a manager come out of the dugout so fast. And he's got his hands making the motion for the replay. Let's see. Amaya, yeah, with 1 foot touching home. Come on. Amaya shifted left to catch third baseman Nick Madrigal's relay, covering more of the plate in the process. Alonso slid head first. Major League Baseball's replay review team examined 2 aspects of the play. Was Amaya illegally blocking home plate? Yes. And if not, did Alonso's hand touch home before Amaya tagged him? So they were looking at both. They were looking to see whether Amaya blocked home plate, and if he didn't, was Alonso safe? Well, you were just talking about the conclusive evidence. There was no conclusive evidence from any angle that Alonso's hand got in before the tag. But it looks pretty freaking clear to me that Amaya was blocking the plate.
Yeah. The blocking the plate looks clear, but again, it comes down to what were they reviewing, right? Because
it sounds like
again, again, kind of the same concept with for example, going back to hockey. If they're looking at a goaltender interference, they're not going to look and see if a guy was offside coming into the zone before the goal was scored.
It sounds from this article that they were looking at both.
Ooh, okay. That makes it even more interesting then. Because then how do you not see the block?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Okay, I will grant you there was no conclusive evidence to overturn. There's no conclusive evidence of whether or not Pete Alonso got his hand in there before the tag. There is irrefutable conclusive evidence that Miguel Amaya was blocking the plate. In other words, ladies and gentlemen, the Mets got screwed.
nuts and bolts. They got screwed.
Yeah. Apparently the rule designed to minimize collisions at home plate is known around baseball as the Buster Posey rule.
Oh, don't pick on my man Buster like that.
Oh, that makes me laugh. That's a good one. The Buster Posey rule. Yeah, I mean, here's verbatim the rule, ladies and gentlemen. The catcher is not permitted to block the runner's path to the plate unless he is in possession of the ball, which he wasn't. Though blocking the possession of the ball, the blocking the path of the runner in a legitimate attempt to receive a throw is not considered a violation. I don't know. Like, this is, I mean, it looks, again, I'm not a Major League Baseball umpire. I'm not a Major League Baseball replay official, but it looks pretty damn clear to me that Miguel Amaya, blocked the plate. I mean, he was standing, his foot was on home plate. Yeah. Now the Mets got the short end of the stick here. I guess, I mean, as much as it sucks that the Mets lost this game, Carson, I guess the only saving grace, the only silver lining out of this situation is this happened in a regular season game, and not, it happened in April, not a game in September, with playoff implications or division implications, or God forbid in the playoffs.
Right.
But I mean, it still happened, and it shouldn't. And yeah, umpires, y'all need to get your shit together.
Yeah, agreed.
Looking at you, CB Buckner, Mr. calling a strike a mile off the plate after a 3-hour rain delay. Ugh. Yeah, if you guys didn't see that, that was rage inducing also, especially if you're a Cardinals fan. Yeah, that was pretty bad too. So, yeah, good stuff. Not. All right. I've been dreading talking about this, and I've also been anxious to talk about this, Carson, because you want to talk about rage inducing. I nearly threw my phone across the room when I heard this. Well, first of all, the Angels' Mike Trout, unfortunately, injured again. Torn meniscus in his knee. I believe he already underwent the surgery. I think he already had the surgery. I think I saw something yesterday on it was a torn meniscus. I think I saw something yesterday on Twitter where he posted a thing like thanking fans for their support, and for wishing him a speedy recovery and all that. Okay, two separate things with this. First of all, I'm absolutely gutted. This sucks so bad for Mike Trout.
Yeah, absolutely. Frustrating for Angels fans to say the least, in a year that has been filled with nothing but frustration to start. And he was on a heater. He had been having a great season so far, and yeah, just hard to see him go down again.
Yeah, this just sucks. I mean, you never want to see anybody get hurt. Especially, you don't want to see anyone get hurt, especially a player, with a superstar like Mike Trout. Yeah, and Angels fans, I'm so sorry. You've all of you have just got to be sitting there and going, "Oh man, like, not again." I mean, bad enough that, everything you guys have been through the last few years, Shohei Ohtani leaving, and I mean, I don't know if, I mean, Carson, if I were an Angels fan and Shohei Ohtani, left town, not only left town, but left town to go play for, across town to play for the Dodgers, which is like the equivalent of somebody leaving the Yankees to go play. That would be like Juan Soto leaving the Yankees to go play for the Mets. But as much as it sucked losing Shohei Ohtani, Angels fans had to have kind of sat there and gone, all right, well, at least we still got Mike Trout.
Yeah, exactly. But well,
yeah.
The baseball god said, nah.
Yeah. I'm convinced the baseball gods, for whatever reason, have it out for the Angels and their fans. I'm not really sure why. But that's certainly how it seems. Yeah. So Mike Trout, I mean, it sounds like Mike Trout is optimistic that he'll be back this season. I don't know. I mean, what else is he gonna say? Like, yeah, I'm done for the season. I appreciate the optimism, but it sounds like it could be longer. Which really sucks. So anyways, so that this whole situation obviously sucks for Mike Trout and the Angels. And we wish Mike Trout nothing but a speedy recovery. But there's another side to this story, Carson. Our well, I don't know if I would call him the favorite. I don't know if I would call him one of our favorite sports personalities. He's yeah. Stephen A. Smith had thoughts about the Mike Trout injury. Yeah, so the day after this happened, let's see, I've got the article right here. 30-year-old Trout hitting the injury list yet again. Yeah, so I mean, Mike Trout's injury issue is well documented. Since 2021, Trout has missed 139 days with a calf strain, 35 days with back inflammation. And of course, he shut it down. He shut down last season for his broken his hamate bone, which I still don't know where that is. But and now the knee injury. So on Wednesday's edition of First Take, Stephen A. Wow. Well, I'll just read you the quote if I can get through it without breaking something. This is what Stephen A. had to say on Wednesday's First Take on ESPN. Let me tell you this. Mike Trout is a sensational player when he's healthy, one of the greatest. He really, really is, and I'm a huge, huge fan. Lies. But I've grown disgusted with his lack of availability. It makes me question. I know he looks the part. What the hell are you doing to take care of yourself? Always injured. I mean, damn, it's baseball. I mean, what are we talking about here? It's not football. It's not boxing. It's not the UFC. You're not running up and down the court 94 feet basketball for 82 nights a year. It's baseball. Half the time, y'all are standing out in the infield, chewing on pumpkin seeds or something, and waiting for a fly ball to come your way. How the hell is he always hurt? I don't understand this. It drives me nuts when I see baseball players get hurt. What is it that you're doing with yourself physically that you can't stay healthy playing baseball? Now you get hit by a pitch or something. That's different. I get all of that. With these oblique injuries, you're running around bases, catching one, and then you're running out for a fly ball, and all of a sudden something gets tweaked. What the hell is going on? Yeah. Stephen A., if you somehow happen to be listening, dude, fuck you.
The worldwide leader of sports, ladies and gentlemen. This is where we are. This is where we are. A network that does not cover that, even though it paid a bunch of money for NHL rights, the coverage still sucks about 3 years later.
God, does it ever.
Barely talk about hockey on any of their any of their actual major shows, aside from a little, hey, here's the hockey that's on tonight.
Nope.
And a network whose biggest star and one of the biggest stars in sports media, because there's no disputing that, is talking smack about baseball players, saying that they don't take care of themselves. Yeah, brilliant, Stephen A. Why don't you go try and play 100+ games a year with hardly ever having a chance to take a break? Like, why have you ever played baseball, sir? Like,
Doubt it.
Like, hello, there's a lot of muscle there are a lot of muscles that go into playing baseball. It is a sport. Like, can we just chill? I'm just going to take a second though to applaud First Take for actually talking about a sport other than football or basketball, or having a topic about something other than LeBron James or the Dallas Cowboys. Congratulations, First Take. A really low bar, but you cleared it. Well done, you. Good God.
I was just going to say that. First Take talking about something other than LeBron or the Cowboys.
Hey, congratulations, First Take. You did it. It's a low bar to clear in today's day and age, but you did it. Well done.
Then what the hell? What has happened to ESPN? Ugh.
I mean, this comment is ASA 9, ASA 10, ASA 11, and ASA 12.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Yeah. Big talk for a dude who barely gets off his couch. Must be nice to have a job where you just sit on your ass all day and yell about whatever and get paid millions of dollars. That's got to be nice. Yeah, I don't know what's ESPN is not the ESPN that I grew up with. I mean, I'm old enough to remember when ESPN was actually the worldwide leader in sports. They covered all sports equally. And now, yeah, pretty much all of everything is about the NBA and the NFL, which, no disrespect to, I mean,
which makes sense. Those are the money-making leagues. They are.
Sure. I mean, I'm not picking on NBA or NFL fans, but, I don't want to tune into ESPN and, and every other thing they're talking about is LeBron or the Cowboys or the Lakers. Or, yeah, no, it's ridiculous. And yeah, Carson's right about the NHL coverage. ESPN paid all this money to get the rights to the NHL, and they hardly ever talk about it.
Boy, AJ, our special mailbag probably isn't gonna like this segment of the show.
I feel like that person agrees with us on some level.
You guys will find out who the special mailbag is at the end of the show.
That person but see, that's the point though, Carson. That person is one of the good ones.
Fair point.
So yeah. But anyways, we won't get too much in depth about the decline of ESPN. But Stephen A wasn't done, Carson. He wasn't done. He took this one step further. He went to a whole an all-time low even for him. Yeah, so I'm still reading from this article. Somehow Smith related to maybe it's karma for Trout staying with the Angels. Stephen A said, quote, maybe he should have went someplace else where you're going to be relevant, and that way you're re-incentivized to stay healthy so you can play some compelling and interesting baseball that actually matters in September. How about that? I repeat, Stephen A, fuck you.
I mean, shots fired at the but the thing. All right. The thing is though, AJ, he's not necessarily wrong on that one in terms of poor Mike Trout getting injured and then not even getting a chance to play some meaningful baseball. Like, I disagree with the point of maybe it's karma from the baseball gods, blah blah blah. I disagree with that part. That part's just kind of icky. But
it is, yes.
But the part of going somewhere to obtain a little bit more relevancy, I do understand to a degree. But this is also the same man who talks about Los Angeles as being one of the premier sports markets almost every show. So
yeah,
now again, the Angels are by far the little brother right now compared to the Dodgers. This is, again,
absolutely.
no argument to be had there, but it still is LA. It still is one of the, as Stephen A says, one of the biggest sports markets in the world. I don't know how much more relevant you're going to get going outside of LA unless he goes to unless he goes to the Yankees or the Mets or something.
Yeah. Yeah, no, as much as it ugh, ugh, as nauseous as it makes me and as much as it makes me want to throw up, I do agree with Stephen A that yeah, I mean, should Mike Trout have gone somewhere else? Yeah, probably. I and Carson, we've talked about this before. I admire Mike Trout's loyalty to the Angels and their fans, but the Angels clearly don't give a damn about being competitive. Um, I mean, they've made the playoffs once in the entire time Mike Trout has been with the Angels. And that was like his rookie year, I think. I don't know. I'd have to go look it up, but um yeah, the Angels clearly don't give a damn about being competitive. They've wasted Mike Trout's career. They wasted a good chunk of Shohei Ohtani's career, which is why Shohei Ohtani was like, "Yeah, I'm out." He got out while the getting was good, and went to the Dodgers. Yeah, I do agree with that point, but to somehow, man, it takes an especially kind of shitty human being to imply that someone deserves to get hurt because they chose just to be loyal to their team. Yeah, I I don't even know. I don't know what else to say about this whole thing. Yeah, Stephen A can, and I hope that dude steps on a whole bucket of Legos because screw that dude. But yeah, he does make a good point about Mike Trout kind of gone somewhere else. And now we're in the unfortunate situation where Mike Trout's hurt again, and I don't know, man. Like I don't want to. I don't want to. Dance on Mike Trout's grave or anything and say this is the end. But I mean, Mike Trout's not exactly a spring chicken.
Yeah, and I think that's the hard part about this is, again, like you said, I admire his loyalty and everything, but again, to kind of side with Stephen A, man, would I love to see him actually play some meaningful baseball down the stretch of the season.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think we all would. Yeah, I mean, Mike Trout's 32, not old, but not young anymore, especially in terms of baseball. So I mean, we'll see how he bounces back from this, whether he plays again this year. And I feel like, I mean, knee injuries are no joke, and coming back from a knee injury, Carson, a lot of times when we see guys come back from knee injuries, not just in baseball and other sports too, they're never quite the same. Yeah, and I gotta be honest, like we're talking about Mike Trout's loyal to the Angels. I don't really get it. Like, why are you being loyal to a team that clearly doesn't give a damn?
Yeah, it's but again, I respect it because it's not something we see very often.
I
But
do, but it's also
if there was ever a player that I'd be like, I am okay if you want to go ring chase, Mike Trout is
Mike
that
Trout
player.
would be it. Yeah, absolutely. Yep. I agree with you 110%. Most of the time, I have no tolerance and no patience for ring chasers. LeBron, Durant, guys like that. Odell Beckham Jr. We don't really get ring chasers in baseball, though, do we?
Not really.
Now that I think about it, I mean, I can't think of one player. I can't think of any examples of a player leaving I mean, yeah, sure, players leave teams as free agents and they get traded and whatever, but I don't ever remember a baseball player demanding a trade like one of those divas in the NBA or the NFL. It also doesn't happen in hockey, which I don't think that's a coincidence either. But anyways, yeah, that's where we're at, ladies and gentlemen. So again, obviously we wish Mike Trout nothing but the best. And a speedy recovery. Because yeah, that just sucks. Sorry, everybody. I had this next article pulled up, and now I don't. Here we go. Here it is. Yeah. So one of the other hot button topics that's been going on basically all year since spring training, the uniforms. The uniforms have been a problem. The too small lettering, the pants that just apparently disintegrate. Well, finally we may have some resolution. After months of complaints from players and fans, Carson, Nike has announced that they're going to change. Basically, well, they say they're going to change the uniforms, the Major League Baseball uniforms. But mostly it sounds like they're going to go back to the old ones. The following changes will be made, returning to the larger lettering on the jersey tops, and on the pants. Seam stitch count and higher quality on the pants. And fixing the fact that the players' sweat stains just soak right through the jersey. I mean, good for you, Nike, that that they're going to fix it, but they shouldn't have messed with the uniforms in the first place.
Yeah. I don't exactly know what went into that decision. It was kind of revealed that it was more of a Nike problem than it was a Fanatics problem. So,
yeah,
Fanatics, I apologize because I did bash you pretty good.
Fanatics is deserving of some bashing still.
Good point. I 50% apologize. The other 50% can stay. The 50% that was about the uniforms, I apologize for.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Nike guys, I'm gonna have to take a page out of your playbook and say, when it comes to fixing the uniforms, just do it.
Is that still Nike's slogan? I don't even know. It used
I don't
to be.
think so, but
yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm all for I'm all for innovation and whatever, but Carson, there's that old saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Exactly right. Yep.
And the MLB uniforms, what was it? It was Majestic that used to make the uniforms, right? Yeah, I think so. It was Majestic that made the uniforms before Nike took over. I mean, I'm all for innovation, and obviously, baseball's evolved, and players players demand more out of their uniforms and whatever, and I get all that, but man, Nike went from they went from zero to crazy with these uniforms. I haven't really understood how they could have kept the design as is and made some changes. They tried redesigning the wheel.
Yeah. They tried reinventing the wheel and then
Reinventing the wheel. Thank you. That's
ended up making it square.
Yeah. So the good news is fixes are coming. Because the sweat stains and the pants blowing out along the seam, and the see-through pants issue, and the ridiculous looking lettering. The letters, the font for the lettering is about 10 sizes too small. So just reading the rest of this real quick. It sounds like it is definitely a Nike issue. So I guess Fanatics is off the hook, at least in that regard. But anyways, the real thing to take out of all this, Carson, is Nike has finally admitted that they screwed up. They're going to fix the uniforms. They say that they're going to fix the uniforms by the start of the 2025 season. I say if Nike knows what's good for them, they'll start making fixes now.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I mean, you mean to tell me that Nike, one of the biggest companies on the planet, can't make these fixes, now and have and get these new uniforms to the players this season, that's a joke, right?
Yeah, it's got to be.
And also, I mean, if I'm MLB, especially the Players Association, I'm on Nike like white on rice. And yeah, we'll have the uniforms fixed by the start of next season. If I'm the MLBPA, I'm all over Nike, and you need to fix this now. Like, these uniforms are the fact that Major League Baseball players have to play in these uniforms, Carson, is embarrassing.
Mm-hmm.
It's an absolute embarrassment. Anyways, well, I mean, I guess at least, again, silver lining, glass half full. Nike is going to fix the uniforms. So that's something anyways. And then real quick, one last before we get into our main thing here. This Dodgers Braves game. This Mariners Braves when when was this? Sorry, everybody. Oh, geez, this was 5 days ago already. Okay, well, I guess this is a little out of the news cycle, but yeah, it's a little out of the news cycle. But oh yeah, geez, this was like a week ago. That's all right. We're gonna talk about it real quick, anyways. This Mariners Braves game, a double no hitter bid. He had Bryce Miller starting for the Mariners, Max Fried starting for the Braves. Both of them had no hitters through the 6th inning. Oh, by the way, if you're keeping score at home, that's just the 7th time in over 60 years that's happened. Of course, spoiler alert, neither pitcher ended up with a no hitter. Fried came out of the game in the 6th inning because of a high pitch out. Miller went 7 innings and a no decision, he only gave up one hit and one walk. Braves took the lead, and the Mariners came back, and Mitch Garver hit a walk-off home run to walk it off for the Mariners. Carson, I don't know if you got a chance to see this game, but so far, this is my game of the year nominee. This game was insane.
Yeah, absolute pitching duel. Shout out to former Twin Mitch Garver, good old Garv sauce, for the walk off there. But yeah, what an absolutely phenomenal pitching duel. And good on the Mariners for getting it done, because it's this seems like a Mariners type of game where the pitching is really good, the offense can't do anything, and then they end up losing. So shout out to the Mariners for getting the offense at least somewhat going in that game.
And you mean where their pitchers pitch out of their mind and the lineup strikes out 15 times, and they lose 1-0. Yeah, that is a very Mariners game. No, but seriously, this game was nuts. I don't know if the replay is available anywhere. Probably actually on what do you call it? You can usually watch replay games on MLB.tv. If you guys have that, I would highly recommend going back and watching this game because it was nuts. And anyone who knows me knows that I love me a good pitcher's duel. So yeah. Anyways, that is my very, very early nominee for Game of the Year. Okay. April is officially in the books, ladies and gentlemen. The calendar has flipped to May. Oh, by the way, happy belated Star Wars Day, everybody. May the 4th be with you. And today is Revenge of the 5th. So April was a wild month. We saw some We saw some surprises. We saw some disappointments. Carson, this might have been the most unpredictable, unexpected April that we've seen in a long time.
Yeah, that is that is puts it bluntly, to say the least.
Yeah, I mean, just like, so many, just so many weird, just some really weird stuff. I mean, Renel Blanco is the best, has been the Astros' best starting pitcher. Blake Snell, who we obviously, is now on the IL with an injury, was the worst pitcher for the Giants. Josh Hader's ERA is over 6. Brennan Bernardino's ERA is over 1. Brennan Bernardino, who the heck is that? I mean, yeah, just a ridiculous, like, I mean, just a crazy month. So these are some of the yeah, I'm just actually looking at this. I mean, we have like normally reliable offensive players off to rough starts. I mean, Julio Rodriguez only had 3 extra base hits all month. Corbin Carroll's having a had a rough April. Just all over the place. So let's get into some of our let's get into our little April rewind here, Carson. Let's start with some of our biggest surprises from the month of April.
I mean, I'm gonna go ahead and lead it off with my Minnesota Twins ending the month on an 11 game winning streak. That is, or I guess by this point, by the
12,
time,
wasn't it?
I was gonna say by the time April ended, it was more so like probably like a 7 game winning streak, but it has since extended to 12. We are now into the month of May, second in the American League Central, only a game and a half back, which is very nice. Let's talk about the Houston Astros a little bit. 12-21, tied with the Los Angeles Angels for last in the division. Jose Abreu has been optioned down to AAA. To quote good friend of the show, Bill Murray, cats and dogs living together, mass hysteria down in Houston. Of course, the Miami Marlins very much feeling the effects of not having Sandy Alcantara, going 9-26 by only one team is worse than them, which is not a surprise, and then the Colorado Rockies. I mean, those are kind of all of my big ones, at least.
Speaking of big surprises, how about the AL Central, which we picked on pretty much all last year as the worst division in baseball? How about the AL Central being the only division right now to have 4 teams above 500?
Yeah, it's this season has been very entertaining. Aside from the White Sox are bringing down our reputation a little bit here. Like, come on, Chicago, step it up a little, will you? I know you're 7-26, but come on.
But I mean, compared to last year, I mean, we really picked on the AL Central last year. The AL Central was far and away the worst division in baseball last year, and here they are, 4 teams over 500. Only 3 games separating first place from fourth place. Yeah, and then of course you get to the bottom and you see the White Sox there. Yeah, I mean, you mentioned the Astros. That's a big I mean, you love to see it, unless you're an Astros fan. A little history for you Astros fans. The only team in baseball history that started a season 7-19 like the Astros did, or worse, and made it to the postseason, Carson, that would be the 1914 Boston Braves.
Yeah, wow.
110 years it's been. So, don't get your hopes up, Astros fans. Or as I've taken to call them, the Lastros. Because they are, man. Seriously though, all jokes aside, who I don't think anyone would have expected the Astros to be tied with the Angels at the bottom of the AL West.
No.
That's just, that is a huge surprise. And oh, by the way, the lowest, in case all you Astros fans are going, well, there's still the wild card. The American League's lowest wild card seed last year won 89 games. To get to 89 wins, Carson, the Astros would have to go 79-54 from this point. In other words, they would have to play on the same pace as a team as a 96 win team. So even if you play on a 90 win pace, you'll win 84 games. But like the old saying goes, you can't win a division in April, but you can certainly lose one. All right. I'm sorry. That's enough ragging on the Astros. It's just, it's been so long since we could rag on the Astros. It's been so long. Yeah, I mean, we talked about the Astros, you talked about the Twins. I think one of my biggest takeaways is, I mean, I might be stating the obvious here, but how about the importance of spring training? So the the Boris 4, as they came to be known over the winter. Well, I guess the Boris 5, because JD Martinez is also a Scott Boras client, even though he was injured and hasn't really played a whole lot this year. But the Boris 4, so we had Blake Snell, Matt Chapman, Cody Bellinger, and Jordan Montgomery. In the month of April, the Boris 4, so basically all of these guys, I mean, Jordan Montgomery and Blake Snell, I mean, they pretty much missed all of spring training. Blake Snell, this is just April, 0-3 with an 11.57 ERA in 3 starts. Of course, we later found out that he was hurt and went on the injured list with an abductor strain. Matt Chapman, an abysmal slash line of 222, 266, and 385. Cody Bellinger, slightly better, 226, 320, and 440, although he wound up on the IL with fractured ribs. And Jordan Montgomery 1-1 with a 2.70 ERA after 2 starts. Although he did beat Blake Snell in one of those. I mean, we always knew spring training was important, but wow, spring training is really important because, I mean, look what's happened to these guys that missed most of spring training.
Yeah, and I mean, even, looking back on April, it's been the month of pitcher injuries and Tommy John.
Yeah.
We might as well just make April apparently National Tommy John month, because there was a lot of pitchers going under the knife and season-ending injuries in the first month of the season.
A lot. Too many.
Way too many.
Yeah, way too many. Yeah, so I mean, obviously the impact of spring training. Yeah, I mean, you talked about the Marlins. The Marlins have to be my biggest disappointment so far. Just way too much talent to be that good, to be that bad. I mean, we've talked about the Rockies, we've talked about the White Sox. So the Marlins, the Rockies, and the White Sox they're on 62 Mets watch. The 62 Mets, lost 120 games, and we've got 3 teams on pace to possibly break that dubious record. But Carson, maybe my biggest surprise, how about Mason Miller and the Oakland A's?
Yeah, shout out Mason Miller. He kind of came onto the scene, and The A's are at 500. The A's have a better record right now than the Houston Astros do. Like, what is life?
The A's are only a game and a half out of the AL West. That's
unreal.
Who are you and what have you done with the Oakland A's? Yeah,
Major
Carson,
League, anybody?
Yeah, I know. We were talking about that before we came on, everybody. We were talking about the A's are doing their best 89 Cleveland Indians impression here from Major League. I mean, I would not be surprised at all to learn that in the A's locker room, they're sitting around going, well, there's only one thing to do, win the whole fucking thing. Seriously, John Fisher is the real life Rachel Phelps.
Yeah, at this point, pretty much.
He's trying to move the team, and the team's basically like, the A's are sitting there going, yeah, screw you. Like, we're gonna prove you wrong. Yeah, I mean, the Oakland A's have to be the biggest surprise of the season so far. What else we got? What else we got going on? Let's see. Yeah, so let's see. We talked about the White Sox, the Rockies, and the Marlins. Yeah, we talked about Jose Abreu. Yikes. I don't know that. I don't know if we can classify Shota Imanaga and Yoshinobu Yamamoto as surprises, but I've been pleasantly surprised with how well they've adjusted to Major League Baseball batters.
Yeah, they've been. Shota Imanaga's been very impressive to start his MLB career. It's been quite the sight to behold.
Yeah, I mean, dude went in the month of April, went 4-0 with a .98 ERA and a .795 WHIP. That's ridiculous. That's just filthy. And Yoshinobu Yamamoto, no slouch either. Hasn't quite been as consistent, but still went 2-1 in April with a 3.5 ERA. I mean, I don't really know why, but I mean, a lot of times we see, players that come from Japan, especially pitchers, really struggle when they first come over. About dealing with MLB pitching for the first time. Yeah, we talked about the Astros. As far as the biggest disappointment category, Corbin Carroll. I mean, the Diamondbacks in general, Carson, the Diamondbacks. Things are not going well in the desert for the defending National League champions. They're 14-20. They're already 7.5 games behind the Dodgers. I don't know though. I think I would put them in that category of too good and too much talent to be this bad.
Yeah, agreed.
Carson. Oh. That's a team I think. That's the team I think that we'll see them turn it around. There's quite a few teams like that who are not playing well. Who I think just aren't as bad as their record indicates right now. The Diamondbacks being one. I think the Cardinals are better than their record. Actually, there's... Well, how about the Tampa Bay Rays? 2 games under 500.
Yikes.
Yeah, that's a team that's... And here we go again with the Toronto Blue Jays. 2 games under 500, 6.5 games out of first place.
Hey, John Schneider, you sweating yet, buddy?
Yeah, I was gonna say John Schneider's seat is getting a little toasty up there in Toronto. Yeah, so those are kind of some of the biggest surprises, biggest disappointments. Carson, what are we looking for? What are we keeping an eye out for in the month of May as we move forward?
Oh, I mean, in the month of May, I think I think a lot of the stories from April are going to carry over. I think we have to keep our eye on the Diamondbacks, see if they can kind of bounce back.
Mm.
Um, I, for one, am certainly going to keep my eye on my Minnesota Twins for obvious reasons, but also the fact that right now we're on a 12-game winning streak. There is now a home run sausage, which I still don't know how I feel about that, but okay. Um, I mean, I'm more curious to see how long that thing lasts before they have to throw it out and get a new one at this point. But
Yeah, I think they need to
um,
put it in the refrigerator.
oh, it needed to go in the refrigerator a long time ago.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, it's a unique home run celebration, but that's kind of gross.
yeah, I think one thing I'm gonna watch for is do the Marlins kind of already
Mm.
with Luis Ariz being the first chip to fall. If they start looking to potentially offload some other assets right now,
Mm-hmm.
rather than wait, just kind of rip the Band-Aid off, get it over with. Do they potentially do something drastic? Do they start to maybe shop a Jazz Chisholm? Do they maybe
Oh
start
man.
to do they maybe start to look at trading some of these other assets that they've got down there that could fetch something on the market? That's something that I'm definitely keeping my eye on.
Yeah, I think I saw something that said that this is the Twins' longest win streak since 1991. I don't know how good everyone's baseball history is, but I'm pretty sure the 1991 season ended pretty well for the Minnesota Twins.
Yeah, it ended pretty well. Yeah,
Some guy named Kirby Puckett. I,
yeah. Who's that? I
who's
don't know
that
who that
Kirby
is.
Puckett dude? I think he was pretty okay at baseball. No, seriously, I'm genuinely happy for you and your fellow Twins fans, because if there's a fan base that deserves this, yeah, you guys definitely do. I mean, 12 wins in a row. I mean, yeah, it's May, but yeah, I the Diamondbacks for sure. I'm obviously keeping a very close eye on my Seattle Mariners. Oh my God, please, Mariners, stop swinging at every pitch. Stop striking out 15 times a game. You're, talk about a lineup that's too good to be this bad. Yeah, I mean, I know JP Crawford's out right now, but you've got Polanco, you've got J Rod, you've got Cal Raleigh. Like, seriously, plate discipline, please. For the love of God, stop swinging at all these bad pitches. You're making it way too easy on opposing pitchers. And oh, by the way, you're wasting one of the best pitching staffs in baseball. These guys are going out there and just dominating, and you're wasting it. Ugh. Enough is enough. Um, yeah, I'm definitely keeping an eye on that. I'm keeping an eye on the Texas Rangers, Carson, the defending World Series champs, currently 2 games out of a playoff spot.
Yeah, very interesting on in that too. They've
Yeah,
they've they've had kind of an up and down year, and
they've
um,
struggled. Yeah,
big time. And Josh Young is still a little ways away from coming back. It'll be interesting to see what the lineup, if his presence will be able to help things. But
yeah. Definitely keep an eye on the Rangers. I'm keeping it. I'm watching. I'm watching that NL East race. The Phillies are currently leading the NL East. The Phillies, I mean, talk about one of the hottest teams in baseball. The Phillies have been on a heater. Um, the Atlanta Braves, I mean, the Braves have that Braves lineup is scary, but I mean, no Spencer Strider. I don't know, man. I still think the Braves make the playoffs. I don't think I don't think they. I think their streak of winning the NL East, I think it comes to an end.
It's very possible.
Yeah,
It's
I
not
think
looking pretty.
I think the Philly. I mean, let's be honest. Sorry, Mets fans, but the NL East is it's a 2-horse race. It's Phillies and Braves. I mean, right now at least. So, yeah, that'll be interesting to watch. I'm definitely with Carson. I think we're definitely going to keep closely follow the Oakland A's. Because man, they've won 6 in a row. They're 500. They're only 3 games out of a wild card spot. I mean, that would be the sport. That would be the baseball story, and that would be the sports story of the century. If the Oakland A's, in spite of everything going on, somehow got themselves into the playoffs.
Yeah, that'd be something.
That would be Speaking of playoffs. Currently, if the season ended now, which it obviously doesn't, but currently, the playoff picture would look as thus. In the American League, the Orioles would be the top seed, followed by the Guardians, the Mariners. Woohoo! The Mariners would get the 3 seed. Yankees 4th, Twins 5th, Royals 6th, which means if the season ended today, which again it doesn't, Carson, the wild card round would be my Mariners against the Royals and your Twins against the Yankees. Oof.
Oh God, not again.
Oof.
No.
Some little history there between the Twins and the Yankees in the playoffs.
History, more like PTSD.
So those, wow. Man, I'm here for that Mariners Royal series. Are you kidding me? That would be a lot of fun. And then over the National League, Phillies currently on top, then the Dodgers, then the Brewers, and the wild cards would be the Braves, the Cubs, and the Padres. So we'd have Brewers, Padres, and Braves, Cubs, in the wild card round, with a, let's see, with a potential Dodger. Oh man, oof. We would, assuming things broke the right way, we could have Phillies, Braves. No wait. 3, 6, 4, 5. Yeah, we would have Phillies, we could have Phillies, Braves, and Dodgers, Padres in the division series. Holy crap!
Wow. But again, this is all
way yes, this is reckless speculation on our part, because it is only May, and it's a marathon, not a sprint. Yada yada yada. You've all heard the blah blah blah. But all joking aside, Carson, it's the beginning of May, but and we've talked about this before, but I would say, as we get deeper into the month of May and towards the end of May and start thinking about June, which I know it sounds like a long way off, everybody, but let's be honest, it'll be here before you know it. Where we're steadily approaching that point where we start to see things shake out, and we get into the territory where we look at these teams who are underperforming, and we can't really, it's still early, where that excuse starts to not work.
Yeah, maybe just a little bit.
We're not there yet, but we're getting there. We're starting to get to the point where things will start to shake out, and we'll start to see that. We'll start to see that separation. Which things are going to start to get really interesting. All right, so in the spirit of rewinding the month of April, we thought it would be fun to pick our all April All-Stars. So we basically, what we did was we just built a lineup out of the players we thought were the best players in the month of April. I think maybe we just
Do we just rapid fire them?
I was gonna say let's rapid fire and then we can go back in and discuss. Let's just go down our whole lineup in order, and then we can go back and discuss. I'll let you go first.
Yeah, so starting with my lineup, starting at catcher, I selected Salvador Perez of the Kansas City Royals. First base, I went with Freddie Freeman of the Los Angeles Dodgers. Second base, I went with Ozzie Albies of the Atlanta Braves. Shortstop, I went with Mookie Betts of the LA Dodgers, and no, that is not a typo. That's where he's played this season. So everybody, calm down. Third base, I went with Alec Boehm of the Philadelphia Phillies. Left field, I went with Mr. Tyler O'Neill of the Boston Red Sox.
Hell yeah.
Center field, this one was very interesting because as much as I would have liked to have gone with Mike Trout, especially with kind of the injuries and everything, didn't really feel like that was fair. So shockingly, somehow, I have selected JJ Bleday of the Oakland Athletics.
Oh my god.
What? Right field, Juan Soto of the New York Yankees. DH, Shohei Ohtani of the Los Angeles Dodgers. Starting pitcher, Mr. Shota Imanaga of the Chicago Cubs. And relief pitcher, Clay Holmes of the New York Yankees.
Wow. Let's see here. So I was writing down yours as you went to compare them to mine. Let's see. Perez, Freeman, Albies, Betts, Boehm, O'Neill, Bleday. Shout out to Bleday. I love it. That's how we know we're living in Bizarro world, everybody. When player from the Oakland A's makes our all April team. Yeah, that's awesome. Ohtani, Imanaga, Clay Holmes. Yeah, okay. So we agree on Freddie Freeman. Let's see. Yeah, well, man, I think I mentioned this to you before we came on air. This is one of the, ladies and gentlemen, I will go on record as saying this is one of the hardest things that I've ever done for the show. I changed my picks so many times. That being said, my illustrious co-host, that is one hell of a team you put together.
We could win some games, that's for sure.
That team would win some games for sure. Yeah, I'm trying to find, because all of you guys always agree on everything. I'm trying to find problems. I'm trying to find something to pick on with this lineup, and I honestly, my only, well, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna rattle off mine, and then we'll discuss. Okay, starting at catcher, I have Connor Wong of my Red Sox. First base, Freddie Freeman from the Dodgers. Second base, Ketel Marte from the Diamondbacks. Shortstop, CJ Abrams of the Washington Nationals. Third base, Alec Boehm. I cheated a little bit with my outfield. I'll be honest. I didn't strictly go by outfield position. I just went, I picked three outfielders. You know what? Fight me. In my outfield, Juan Soto of the Yankees, Fernando Tatis Jr. of the Padres, Jurickson Profar of the Padres, DH Shohei Ohtani, duh. Starting pitcher, oh man, did I struggle with starting pitcher. I had Shota Imanaga, and then I made the mistake of falling down the Baseball Reference rabbit hole, and I went Tarek. I also learned how to pronounce his name. It's Tarek Skubal. Tarek, yeah, Tarek Skubal of the Detroit Tigers. In my one major disagreement with you, for my relief / closing pitcher, Emmanuel Clase of the Cleveland Guardians, who has been the very definition of lights out closer so far this year.
And Clase has been very impressive. But I'd also like to point out to my illustrious co-hosts that Clay Holmes currently has a ERA of 0.00 in 16 games and going 11 for 12 in his save opportunities, which is tied for the league best with Ryan Helsley out in St. Louis.
Oh man, I forgot all about Ryan Helsley. Shit. Wow, 0.0 ERA. Holy crap. Well, I mean, I guess that trumps Class A's 0.55 ERA ever so slightly. Damn. I'll be honest with you guys. I partially picked this team on stats. I partially picked it on what I like to call the eye test. And I mean, the 0.0 ERA is obviously, I mean, that's ridiculous. But Class A, man, Class A has just had that, like, it's been a while. It's been a while since we had one of those closers where it's like, where if you're the opposing team and you see that dude, you see that bullpen door open, you see that dude head to the mound, that you just kind of look at each other and go, yeah, game's over. And Emmanuel Clase has been that this year for the Guardians. Let's see. I'm looking at yeah, that's why I can't believe I'm gonna say this, but why Ozzy Albies at second base?
I can't believe that you're saying that either. I almost had to clean my ears out. What? For me, it was kind of there were three that were in consideration.
Tell me Ketel Marte was one of them.
Ketel Marte was absolutely one of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Jose Altuve was also the other one because based on stats alone, he trumps the other two majorly, but at the same time, it's like I feel like I have to take the team record into at least a little bit of consideration. Maybe not a ton of consideration, but it has to at least be somewhat of a factor.
I'm so glad you didn't pick Altuve.
Yeah, but for me with Ozzy Albies, it was hard because it was very close. Like I went back and forth on Marte and Ozzy Albies literally pretty much until the moment we started recording, and I was like, all right, I gotta pick one here. Because Marte has played in 11 more games than Ozzy Albies has, but the thing for me with Ozzy Albies is taking a look at his stats. His stats are right there with Ketel Marte's, even with a little bit less games. Like
yeah, they are actually. I'm actually looking at both of them on Baseball Reference right now.
Like his on base percentage is a little bit better than Marte's. Sure, his slugging and his OPS aren't on the same level, but just the pure production in those lesser games, that's only something that a great ball player can do.
But Ketel Marte has had 133 at bats, and Ozzy Albies has only had 97. So the fact that Albies his numbers are basically identical, that's actually pretty impressive.
Yeah, very very much.
That's quite impressive. Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah, I'm just looking at them like side by side on. Yeah, 5 home runs, 2 home runs, batting averages. I mean, the batting averages are almost identical. RBI is pretty much the same. On base percentage is it's a little skewed, but again, I mean, Ketel Marte has had a lot more at bats, so okay, all right. I withdraw my objection to Ozzy Albies. I mean, Mookie Betts at shortstop. I'm not even gonna try to argue that one. Alec Bohm at third base again. I obviously appreciate Tyler O'Neill being picked the Tyler O'Neill pick, because Tyler O'Neill has been playing out of his mind for the Red Sox. I knew that was a great signing. I knew that was gonna be a great signing. Blade of the A's, yep, can't argue with that. Juan Soto. No love for Mr. Tatis Jr. in your outfield.
No love for Fernando, because in my outfield I went more so by position. And
yeah, you did. You're right. I cheated.
And as much as I would have loved to put Fernando in here, and as deserving as he is, Juan Soto's been playing absolutely out of his mind.
Yes, he has. Yeah, Juan Soto's been ridiculous for the Yankees. Thoughts on my, I don't know. I cheated in my outfield. I did. I just went outfielders, not positionally. Thoughts on Mr. Jurickson Profar.
He was actually one of the left fielders that was very much in contention, and that is a very weird sentence to say in the year 2024. But here we are. Yeah, he's talk about a guy who's been playing out of his mind. Hello, Jurickson Profar. Where did you come from? Like, I feel like he's mostly just kind of been, a ho-hum type of player. Nothing too special. Like, gets the job done, a solid utility guy. And then all of a sudden just comes out of nowhere and is putting up career best numbers across the board.
Yep.
Well, hello.
Yeah. 347 batting average, 435 on base, 977 OPS, 5 homers, and 23 RBIs. Yeah, dude, have yourself a season. Yeah, Profar is, he's been off to a ridiculous start. Yeah, Shohei Ohtani, I'm not even, can't argue with that. Starting pitcher, you went Imanaga. I gotta be honest, I thought you might have gone Yamamoto.
Yamamoto was again one of the ones in contention, as well as Jose Barrios was another one that I was.
Skubal one of your?
Skubal was in the mix. Skubal was certainly in the mix. But yeah, I mean, Shota Imanaga's been ridiculous. I can't deny those numbers. He's been absolutely insane. Like a .78 ERA, 0.75 WHIP. His opponent's batting average is at a 172. The only pitchers that have a better opposing batting average than him are some of the best in the league. Like, Tarek Skubal's in there, Logan Gilbert, Dylan Cease, like all guys who are stars in this league among others. He's currently sits 8th best in terms of opposing batting average. So hard to disagree with his numbers and again the eye test.
Yeah, and I mean there's obviously been a lot of pitchers that have gone down with injuries so far this year, but there are some starting pitcher for me, I don't know about you, starting pitcher for me might have been the hardest pick out of all of these.
Yeah, it was hard. It was very hard.
There are so many pitchers having great years. Shout out though to Tarek Skubal, 4-0 with a 1.72 ERA. Damn. And a .736 WHIP. Oof. Those are on their way to being Cy Young numbers. Yeah, that's right. I said it. So those are our all April All-Stars. That was fun, but also excruciating. And yeah, here we go, everybody. We're into the month of May. It is safe to say that baseball season is in full swing. which is always exciting. All right, let's move on and let's play some buy or sell. Speaking of the aforementioned CJ Abrams, Carson, buy or sell that CJ Abrams is the most underrated player in baseball right now.
Yeah, I'll buy it. He's been on an absolute tear, showing why he was a top prospect for many years. And just because I feel like he's on the Nationals, his contributions aren't talked about nearly as much as they should.
Yeah, I don't think I don't think people are talking about him as much as they should, but I do, especially in MLB Network. I've seen a lot of talk about CJ Abrams. I feel like he might not be getting the amount of press that he should be, but he's getting quite a bit of press, and he is having quite a season. 287 batting average, 353 on base, 927 OPS, 7 homers, 19 RBIs, 8 stolen bases. That is an impressive stat line. But no, I'm selling this. CJ Abrams is not the most underrated baseball player in baseball right now. Carson, the most underrated player in baseball right now is the also aforementioned Connor Wong of my Boston Red Sox. 351 batting average, 974 OPS, 5 home runs, 14 RBIs, and oh, by the way, the cherry on top, how about a 994 fielding percentage?
That is quite impressive.
And I haven't heard, other than Boston sports media, I haven't heard anyone talk about this dude. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is criminal.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah. Seriously, Connor Wong, where's the attention? Where's the press? It actually makes me kind of mad. No disrespect to CJ Abrams, but it actually makes me kind of mad. Oh yeah, here we go. Here's a juicy one. Buy or sell that more than one of the current division leaders won't make the playoffs.
Well, let's take a peek here. Do I believe that there's a division leader that currently won't make the playoffs? As a matter of fact, yes, I do. This is probably going to be one of the hottest takes that I will utter this season, but
Oh no, don't do it.
I don't trust the Brewers.
Oh. I thought you were gonna say the Guardians.
No, they'll definitely make the playoffs.
We were gonna have words if you said the Guardians.
I don't know. Maybe it's just a feeling in my gut. Maybe it's just me liking Corbin Burns a massive amount, but I don't know. I don't trust the Brewers right now.
Nope, I'm with you. Okay, so that's one. Do we see another? Is there another division leader that you see not making the playoffs?
Honestly, no. I think that all the other division leaders, as they sit right now, have a very good chance of making the postseason.
Okay, so you're selling that more than one division leader won't make the playoffs.
Yes.
Okay. All right, let's see. We've got the Orioles.
I forgot about the more than part.
That's okay. We've got the Orioles, the Guardians, the Mariners, Phillies, Brewers, and Dodgers. You know, I really wanted to buy this. I really wanted to find one of these other teams. But I mean, no, I'm with you on the Brewers. I don't trust the Brewers. Sorry, Milwaukee fans. I don't trust the Brewers. I don't think the Brewers end up winning that division. I still think that's the Cubs division to lose. I mean, as much as I would love to sit here and tell y'all that the Dodgers aren't going to make the playoffs, that would be ridiculous. Phillies, yeah, I think the Phillies get in. I still think the Phillies. I think the Phillies end up winning the NL East. I gotta be honest though. I don't know how much faith I have in my Seattle Mariners. I'm not ready to go as far as they're not going to make the playoffs. I'm not ready to say that yet. But man, unless they figure out how to stop swinging at every, unless they figure out how to stop swinging at every pitch, and unless they stop striking out 10, 15 times a game, that pitching staff is only going to carry them so far.
Yeah, exactly right.
I don't know what they need to do. I don't know what, like, you need a new hitting coach or something. But no, I'm not quite ready to say that they won't make the playoffs, but seriously, Mariners, stop it. Knock it off. But yeah, no, I'll sell that because I can't honestly sit here and look at any of these other division leaders and go, yeah, they're not going to make the playoffs. I mean, it's a long season. Stranger things have happened. Any one of these teams could just fall apart. But I mean, the Dodgers, the Phillies, the Guardians, and the Orioles are all way too good, I think, for that to happen. Speaking of the Guardians, Carson, buy or sell that the Guardians would beat the Orioles in a 7-game series?
Sell. Sorry. I love the Guardians. They've been very impressive so far this season, but I don't see them knocking down this Orioles team right now.
You know what? Screw it. I'm buying it. In a 7-game series, yeah. Especially if it comes down to the bullpens. I'm sorry. I mean, the playoffs come down to pitching and defense, and I know the Orioles, they've got Coburn Burns. But if we're talking games that come down to the 9th inning and come down to the closer, I'm sorry, but give me Emmanuel Clase all day, every day, and twice on Sundays over Craig Kimbrell.
I mean, Craig Kimbrell is having a renaissance here, though. I will not let you slander his name this time around.
He is, but he's still Craig Kimbrell, and I do not trust him in the 9th inning.
Fair enough.
If we're in a 7-game series and the Guardians have the lead in the 9th inning, or eight in the late going 8th inning, 9th inning lead, and they turn the ball over to Emmanuel Clase, I'm sorry, Orioles fans, but it's game over. It's lights out. And chances are in a 7-game series, the Guardians are going to be, chances are in a 7-game series, you're going to have a team in a position where they have the lead in the late going and turn things over to their closer. And I know Craig Kimbrell is having, so far, I know he's having a good year so far. But I don't know what it is. I don't know how to describe it, but Emmanuel Clase is the very definition. He is the living embodiment of a lights out game over closer. And he just has that effect that on opposing teams, when he comes out of that pen, you just know. Yeah, no, I mean, Carson, I think a series between the Guardians and the Orioles would go the full 7 games, though. That being said.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. That series would 110% go the full 7, and I would be seated for every single game of it.
I was gonna say, and let's be honest. I mean, that would be a fun series to watch. That would definitely be must-see TV. All right. Speaking of the aforementioned Shota Imanaga, Carson, buy or sell that Shota Imanaga will lead all of Major League Baseball in ERA this season?
I have no reason right now not to believe it, so I'm going to go ahead and buy it.
You think he finishes with the best ERA?
I think he does, and I'll even go a step further. I think he's very much in contention and could very well win the NL Cy Young.
Oh yeah, right. I mean, if we're casting Cy Young ballots like at this moment, yeah. And I don't even think it's close in the National League. I think he's a runaway for the NL Cy Young. I don't know though. Leading MLB in ERA, that's a really that's a tall order. There's so many other good pitchers. I mean, he is currently leading MLB in ERA with a .78, and Jose Barrios is the next closest with a 1.44. Oh, I don't know, man. That's a tall order. You know what? Screw it. I'll buy it. Although I do think at some point Shota Imanaga has to, come back down to earth with the rest of us mortals. I don't know that he can keep up the pace he's on. But because there's such a gap between him and Jose, so your top 3 in ERA right now, in Major League Baseball, Shota Imanaga, 0.78, Jose Barrios, 1.44. How about Cutter Crawford, 1.56? My boy Cutter.
He's cutting up the competition.
Man, Cutter Crawford, more like Butter Crawford. Buttery smooth delivery for that man. Wow, I would not have had Cutter Crawford as top 5 in ERA. Shout out to Andrew Bailey, by the way. If the Red Sox pitching staff keeps going the way they're going, Carson, I am petitioning Andrew Bailey to get a statue outside Fenway Park. Because he has completely turned around that Red Sox pitching staff. Anyways. All right. Last but definitely not least, Elly De La Cruz on pace for 40 plus home runs and nearly 100 stolen bases, which, needless to say, has never been done in the history of Major League Baseball. So Carson, buy or sell that Elly De La Cruz will have a 40 home run, 100 stolen base season.
I gotta sell this. I mean,
I
know he's on pace for it, but come on, this is ridiculous. There's no way.
Boo.
Boo me all you want.
Okay, Reds fans, send all your angry emails. You know what? Screw it. I'm buying it. Are you kidding me? He's on pace for 41 home runs and 104 stolen bases. If anyone, I know that sounds like 40 and 100 sounds ridiculous. Nobody's ever done it. Nobody's ever come close to doing it. But Carson, if anyone has the tools to do it, and the tools and the talent to pull it off, it is Elly De La Cruz. This dude is the real deal.
I'm not saying he doesn't have the talent to pull it off. I'm just saying there's no way. That's a ridiculous pace that he needs to try and keep up.
Okay, so where do you think he ends up? Home runs and stolen bases.
I mean, I could easily see the 40 homers. I could easily see that.
And stolen bases?
I mean,
60, 70.
I'd say probably I could see 70.
How many did Ronald Acuna Jr. last year? Was what, 40 and 70, right? I gotta look it up.
Like 40, 60, something like that.
2023.
Or yeah, he had 73. So yeah,
41 home runs and
41 homers, 73 stolen
bases. I mean,
I could easily see him getting to the 40-70 club.
I could see. I mean, I do think he. I think he. I think he has what it takes to stay on the 4,000 pace. But I would call no less than 80 stolen bases for Ellie De La Cruz this year. I mean, that dude swipes bags like nobody I've ever seen. And especially with the new rules. Yeah, I just, why not? You know what, everybody? Why the hell not? And if I'm wrong, which, it happens. If I'm wrong, I'll be the first to admit it. But you heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. Ellie De La Cruz will be the first member of the 40 home run, 100 stolen base club. He's good enough to do it, and why not? Man, I'm so jealous of Reds fans. I'm so jealous. I'm so jealous of you guys for having a player like Ellie De La Cruz on your team, and I'm also extremely happy that you have. I'm happy for you to have a player like Ellie De La Cruz. Because, man, Carson, talk about fan bases that deserve to have a good team.
Yeah, absolutely.
The Reds fans, you guys have been through it over the years, so it's nice to see you guys have a good team for once. And yet again, I forgot. Yeah, I really suck at the banners. Yeah. I know. I hear you all. I suck at the banners. I know. All right. All right. Let's jump right to the last mailbag. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. I just want to skip to the last one, but we won't. I won't. We'll read all of them because you guys took the time to write into us. Because this is the mailbag. And yeah, don't forget, you can drop us a line at eighthinningpod.com/mailbag or at eighthinningstretch@gmail.com. And we might just read your message on an upcoming episode. We start with Violet F, who wants to know, what are your favorite ballparks that you've been to? I'm going to just put a disclaimer on this and say that, obviously Target Field and Fenway Park, but those go without saying. So other ballparks that we've been to.
Yeah, I have not had the pleasure of being to a whole lot of ballparks. I think aside from my home park, yeah, Dodger Stadium I think has got to be up there. Absolutely beautiful.
Jealous.
For the history alone, Wrigley Field and Yankee Stadium, just amazing history by itself, but also just gorgeous ballparks. So those are probably my top 3.
Wait, you went to old Yankee Stadium?
Sorry, no, I'm talking about the new Yankee Stadium.
Oh, okay. I was like, damn, you went to old Yankee Stadium.
No, I wish.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Yeah, no, I'm insanely jealous that you went to you've been to Dodger Stadium and I haven't. Dodger Stadium, I'll be honest, is probably at the top of my list of ballparks that I want to go to. Whereas Yankee Stadium is at the very bottom or below whatever the bottom is. Yeah, Fenway Park, obviously. You know what? I'm a big fan of, well, I don't know if this classifies as a home ballpark or not, because they're my other team, but Carson, I love me some T-Mobile Park.
That's one that I'd love to go
Dude.
to. It just looks like a fun park to be at. The view just looks great. Like obviously I want to go to every single ballpark at some point in my life, but
yeah, that would be nice, wouldn't it? Yeah, big fan of T-Mobile Park. The park, Seattle itself is just an incredible place. The views from T-Mobile Park, are stunning. Yeah, big fan of T-Mobile Park. Wrigley Field for obvious reasons. Big fan of Citizens Bank Park in Philadelphia. But if we're going, this is tricky because you think about, the scenery and you think about the park itself and you think about the experience and the views. I gotta be honest, the most scenic, the ballpark with the best views, and probably I would argue the most beautiful ballpark in all of baseball, Coors Field right here in Denver.
Beautiful for hitters, maybe.
Beautiful for hitters, but the view, man, like, folks, if you get a chance to come to Coors Field, do it and do yourself a favor and get seats on the first base side. And as long as Mother Nature cooperates, you will be treated to a simply breathtaking, spectacular, awe-inspiring view of the majestic Rocky Mountains. It's really something. They knew what they were doing when they put that ballpark where it is. Especially if it's a night game and you get to watch the sunset behind the Rockies. So, hey, Rockies, I just got that. Tom W wants to know, do you think players should go back to wearing their team's jersey in the All-Star game? Yes.
Yes, 1,000 times yes. It just it brings back that sense of, it brings back the sense of individuality, like getting a chance to see your guys truly represent your teams instead of just having a little patch on the sleeve of the jersey. But like, if they actually came up with some decent American League and National League jerseys, I might not have such an issue, but I feel like they haven't had a good design in many
It's been
moons.
a minute.
So like giving a sense of originality, and once all the teams have them maybe wear like their City Connect jerseys or something. That'd be sick.
Oh, I like it. Yes, petition to wear City Connect jerseys in the All-Star game. Yeah, I was actually just trying to look to see when did they stop wearing their 2021. So pretty recently. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm all for the National and American League jerseys for, maybe for the home run derby.
Yeah, maybe.
But yeah, no, they most definitely need to bring back players wearing their own jerseys in the All-Star game, because I mean, yeah, some of the All-Star uniforms have been okay. Last year's were pretty cool, I have to admit. But yeah, that's part of like Carson said, I mean, that's part of the individuality. That's part of the the charm of the baseball All-Star game was the players wearing their own jerseys. Let the freaking NBA and NHL and whatever, let them wear generic All-Star jerseys. Bring back the team jerseys in baseball. Eric S, what's your favorite pitch type and why?
I love me a good knuckleball.
I knew you were going to say that.
I love me a good knuckleball, especially if you can get a good amount of movement on there. Whew, there is no pitch harder to hit than a good knuckleball. I don't know what it is about it, but I love me a knuckleball.
Yeah. Damn it, you stole my answer. Yeah, no, I'm a big fan of the knuckleball. Obviously I was lucky enough to watch Tim Wakefield master the knuckleball for all those years for the Red Sox. And yeah, Carson's 100% right. When you're getting good movement on the knuckleball, it's basically unhittable.
Yeah, basically unhittable. Like,
yeah,
good luck.
Yeah, it's a good movement, good movement on a knuckleball, and yeah, Although, to be fair, on the flip side of that, if you're not getting good movement on the knuckleball, you're gonna get knocked around.
Yes, very true.
As Tim Wakefield did several times, when the knuckleball just had didn't have any movement on it. I'm also a big fan of the knuckleball. Yeah. I'm a big fan of a good nasty power curveball too.
True. Yeah, another good one.
I love me a good power curveball that bounces in the dirt. Those are fun to watch. Unless it's your unless it's one of your unless it's your team trying to hit it. So but yeah, knuckleball is definitely my favorite because it's so much fun to watch. A good knuckleball. Not a lot of knuckleballers in baseball anymore, though. I feel like knuckleballs are sort of going the way of the dodo.
Yeah.
Current knuckleball pitchers in MLB. Wow. Yeah, there's a grand total of 1 active knuckleball pitcher in baseball right now. His name is Matt Waldron. He's 26 and he pitches for the Padres. Wow. One knuckleballer. Okay then. Well, like I said, going the way of the dodo. There's actually been quite a few. I mean, probably the most famous knuckleballer is Phil Niekro.
Mm-hmm.
Tim Wakefield, of course. Yeah, most of these other pitchers I don't even recognize. Okay. All right. Well, there you go. In case that comes up at your trivia night, ladies and gentlemen, there's 1 current knuckleballer in Major League Baseball. All right, moving on. Pam B, what do you think is baseball's most unbreakable record?
I'm gonna go with the Joe DiMaggio hitting streak.
Oh yeah, 56.
I just don't see that being broken anytime soon.
Yeah, some guys have come close, but that is a pretty unbreakable record. I mean, I think Cal Ripken Jr.'s consecutive games played streak.
Yeah, that's also one that will probably never be broken.
I mean, in the this day and age with players getting days off to rest and everything, nobody's going to play 2,000 plus games in a row. And I think the other one we need to talk about is Ricky Henderson's stolen base record.
Mm-hmm.
His 1,406 career stolen bases. Yeah, no, nobody's gonna touch that. Let's see, MLB all-time stolen base leaders. Yeah, I mean, folks, there aren't even any active players. Wait, are there? No. There are no active players even in the top 100. So, yeah, I don't see that. I don't see that going anywhere anytime soon. All right, Carson, you ready?
I'm ready.
Brace yourself. So we've been teasing a special mailbag message. Oh man, I don't know how I'm even gonna hold myself together through this. Yeah, we'll just read it. I'm not gonna tell you who it's from, but we'll just read it. Well, no, actually, I will. Should I tell him who it's from, or should I read it first?
Well, we'll tell them who it's from at the end, like we usually do.
Yeah, like we do with the big
with
ones.
special ones. Yeah.
They'll probably figure it out. Because you guys are smart. This person writes, just found the show on the recommendation of my fellow Mariners fan Dave. Hint, hint. And I've already binged through a good chunk of it. Love your passion for baseball. Love the love for my Mariners. Hint, hint. And love what you guys are doing. The sports media biz needs more of this kind of content. Keep up the awesome work and go M's. Signed, Mina K.
In case you all are sleeping under a rock and at this point don't know who we could be talking about, we are talking about ESPN NFL analyst extraordinaire, Mariners fan, Pacific Northwest girl, and my illustrious co-host's celebrity crush, the one and only Mina Kimes. Mina Kimes.
Whew. It's getting toasty over here.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am not kidding you when I texted AJ as well as producer Tasha in our group chat that I had to pinch myself for a solid minute to make sure this was real life. Because, and by the way, I can't go another second without thanking all of you guys, because again, this does not happen without you. We do not get a mailbag message from Mina freaking Kimes. We do not get to interview Dave Sims. We do not get a mailbag message from Jackie Mack. We do not get any of those things without all of you.
Yeah, without you guys, yeah, we don't. And I mean, it's just without you guys, we don't get the interview with Dave Sims. And Dave Sims does not even know we exist, doesn't even know the show exists, and therefore never recommends it to Mina. So it's, it's a chain reaction. Well, I don't know about you, but that's it. Like, we can hang up the mic. I mean, that's it.
Also, by the way, since she threw in a mailbag message and may be listening, I'm just gonna shoot my shot right here. Mina, if you
Please
ever want
come
to be
on
a
the
guest
show.
on the show, like,
oh my God,
all you need to do is let us know, and
Yes.
we will make it work.
Yes, please come on the show. Please.
Boy,
Although
I can feel the blushing from AJ all the way over here.
You know what? As awesome as that would be, I don't know if I would be able to get a word out.
That's okay. I'd be okay taking the lead with Mina Kimes.
Dude, I would be just, oh man, I would be so flustered.
But I was like, seriously, we are, in case you guys can't tell, we're absolutely starstruck over here. Like, we are, aside from the fact that she is AJ's celebrity crush, we are both huge fans of hers.
Yes.
And by the way, as long as you guys are looking for podcasts aside from ours, of course, go check out the Mina Kimes show featuring Lenny, of course, can't forget Lenny. Yep. Because it's absolutely phenomenal. And you guys will hear what when I say that she's probably my favorite NFL analyst right now, you will hear why, because the way that she breaks down the game is just in such an easy to understand, but also advanced way, where it's absolutely incredible. Whether you're a novice to football, whether you're a football fan through and through, the way she breaks down the game is absolutely phenomenal. So make sure you listen to her podcast, watch her on NFL Live, Around the Horn. She's basically everywhere on ESPN. You can't miss her.
Yeah. Yeah. All joking aside, she's a rock star. She's probably, I don't know, man. She's the best NFL analyst out there. And one of the best sports analysts out there, period.
Like, Mina Kimes.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Oh wow. Don't mind me over here, everybody. I'm just trying to compose myself. Oh, wow. Yeah, no, seriously though, that's pretty freaking awesome. And again, not possible without you guys. Not possible without my illustrious co-host Carson, and not possible without producer Tasha. Who, let's not forget, producer Tasha is the one that got her that scored us the interview with Dave Sims in the first place. So, but we don't get to that point where that was even remotely possible without you guys. So, yeah, seriously though, Mina, if you're listening, which I really hope you are, seriously, come on the show, please, 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 please come on the show. We'll dedicate. We'll spend the whole time talking football if you want.
I'd be down for that. Absolutely.
Yeah, no, right? Seriously, yeah. For real though. No, that's pretty freaking cool. All right. Now that I've somewhat recomposed myself here, let's talk about must-watch games. Got a few for you. Carson, actually, the first must-watch game on my must-watch game list, I feel like, well, I don't know if it would have been a tankathon, but it would have been a tankathon because it involves the Oakland A's, possibly. But the Texas Rangers visiting the Oakland A's on Monday. Suddenly that game is must watch. One, because the Rangers are still trying to put everything together, and two, because the Oakland A's, as we mentioned before, are a 500 team and creeping up on they're actually right behind the Rangers in the AOS standings.
Yeah, absolutely. And
wow.
Yeah, which is crazy to think about. A game too that I'm very curious. It's a game too that will be very curious to see how it goes. Let me make sure it happens later on today. So, but more so, it's the Blue Jays and Nationals, but not necessarily for the reason you would think, because at first you're just kind of like, oh, that sounds like a scrub matchup, like almost a potential tankathon. But ladies and gentlemen, this is the season debut of Alek Manoah.
Oh boy.
He is on the bump for the Blue Jays for this game. So I'm very intrigued to see how he kind of bounces back after let's call a spade here, an absolutely horrific 2023 season where he got sent down to a league that neither of us had even really heard of.
No, right.
So it'll be very interesting to see how he bounces back in his first start of the 2024 season.
Yeah, for sure. Really hope he's able to bounce back. Because it's been a rough go for Alek Manoah the last couple of years. Another one I've got the Orioles and the Nationals in a little Beltway series. I mean, the Orioles are really, really good. The Nationals are, well, the Nationals. But I am intrigued by this matchup, Carson, because this is the first time that two teams will wear their City Connect jerseys in the same game.
Yeah, should very much be a fun one.
Yeah, that's just pretty cool. Because normally only the home team wears their City Connect, so for both teams to wear them is pretty awesome. And then the other one I've got starting on Friday, the Dodgers and the Padres. I mean, I don't really think I need to explain that one any further. It's Dodgers, it's Padres, NL West showdown. Luis Ariz in the Dodgers line the Dodgers lineup, in the Padres lineup. It's Dodgers Padres. Come on, what more do you need? What else do you need to know?
Yeah, that one should be fun. Now in kind of a rare, mostly for the sake of time, since our April rewind has thoroughly been rewound. We're going to save Tankathon so we can kind of get right into one last thing, for the sake of time and everything for all of you out there listening, which thank you very much again, because this has been one of our longer episodes, but
it's okay though. We can get away with one of these every once in a while. One last thing. sort of a quickish thing. So I like to peruse for interesting stories about like the story the story about the baseball in Bhutan and stuff like that. I'm gonna do you all a favor. Learn this name, Rintaro Sasaki, because it's not going to be very long before this is a household name. Rintaro Sasaki was the top rated high school player in Japan. He was projected to be the most coveted name in last October's Nippon Professional Baseball NPB draft. In high school, he mashed a Japanese national record, 140 home runs, twice as many walks as strikeouts. And oh, by the way, attended the same high school as Dodger superstar Shohei Ohtani, Toronto Blue Jays left-hander Yusei Kikuchi, all of whom were coached by Sasaki's father, Hiroshi. But instead of going in the NPD draft, Rintaro decided to come stateside and play college baseball for Stanford. Learn this kid's name. He's going to be a household name. This kid, he's big, he's powerful, 6 feet, 250 pounds. He's got a full tilt swing. He loves to hit line drives to left field. His pull power is unlike anything I've ever seen. People are beginning to compare him to Barry Bonds, minus the cheating, of course. No, seriously though, this dude's got light tower power. He's going to be a legit slugger. In a simulated game for Stanford last Wednesday, Sasaki lined a single off the fence and crushed 2 home runs. His second homer traveled 422 feet with an exit velocity of 111 miles an hour. Learn this kid's name. He's going to be a household name. Now, he's not draft eligible. He will be draft eligible, but not draft eligible, I believe, until, let's see. Sorry, I had it. He'll be draft eligible 2 years from now. But seriously, this kid grew up. He basically grew up with Shohei Ohtani. Watching Shohei Ohtani, he was coached by the same coach. This kid, I know he's young. I know he's only in college, but this kid has all the makings of a superstar. And we would all do well to learn his name because he's going to be a household name here in a few years, if not sooner. Rintaro Sasaki. Learn the name, ladies and gentlemen. Learn this kid's name.
Yeah, very, very impressive, no doubt there from Rintaro Sasaki. And as I don't remember. And now for something completely different. Let's talk some more umpire business, shall we?
Yes, let's.
So, if you all follow me on the social media artist previously known as Twitter, I had posted a clip from the Twins game saying that I had very angry thoughts. Byron Buxton. Who is a phenomenal player when he is on the field, came up limp on a slide attempt at second, or didn't even go for a slide at second against the Chicago White Sox. Was obviously hurt, very much concerned because this is a person who has had his knee surgically repaired multiple times. And there's concern for, potential damage there. And, he's coming off the field. He can't exactly, run or, jog or put a whole lot of weight on it. So he's walking off the field. Rob Drake, an umpire in this game, basically shouted at Buxton saying, "Let's go, get off the field." What is going on? When did umpires decide? I saw a reply to the initial tweet that I had found it, that kind of gave me a good chuckle. Umpires this year are acting like they have the nuclear codes. But like, it's like, what are we doing here, man? The guy is clearly injured. He didn't even go for a slide at second, and you've got, again, to quote Stephen A., the tenacity, the unmitigated gall to call out to this guy and say, "Hey, let's go, get off the field." I get that you've got a tea time, I'm sure, after this game, you and all your umpire buddies, but chill out, sir. This is also the guy who posted in October 2019, "I will be buying an AR-15 tomorrow because if you impeach my president this way, you will have another civil war. Hashtag MAGA 2020. So maybe this guy isn't the greatest human being on earth to begin with. But still, it's just like, my God, he is clearly injured. He's trying to get off the field as quick as he can. That is in no way, shape, or form appropriate for you to say to an injured player. And I hope that MLB does something about this, because that's just not okay. I doubt they will, but it's just not okay. And, go have you want a civil war. One is started between umpires and baseball fans. How about that?
Mm-hmm.
Garbage.
Yeah.
And
yeah. Yeah, I don't know what has gotten into umpires this year. And again, disclaimer, it's not all umpires, but even having just one umpire acting like a complete ass, CB Buckner, Angel Hernandez, and now this knucklehead. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. And it's, I don't know. But no, like, I mean, making atrocious calls, Angel Hernandez, CB Buckner, that's one thing. Making a really bad call, that's one thing. But when you start picking on injured players, that's a whole other. Yeah. I mean, making bad calls means you're a bad umpire. Doing something like this means you're a garbage human being. And quite frankly, you belong on the garbage heap of history with people like Stephen A. Smith and Patrick Beverly.
No.
Yeah, we won't even go there. But yeah, no, seriously, that is. Yeah, you cross the line. You cross the line from being a bad umpire and being bad at your job to being a garbage human being. But you know what? The MAGA 2020 stuff, now that makes it make sense.
Just, I can't get over that. Like, let's go, get off the field. Shut up. He's injured.
Yeah.
Let him get off the field on his own. Are you going to say that to a guy that's like collapsed on the ground?
Yeah.
Would you say that to a bigger superstar of the game? I don't think so.
Byron Buxton is a superstar.
Good point.
I'm
underselling my guy.
But yeah, I see your point. I don't care if it's a superstar or a bench warmer. I don't care. Like, that's totally uncalled for. Yeah. So what did you mention this knucklehead's name or no?
His name is I believe I'll double check, but it's Rob Drake. Yes.
Oh, yeah. Well, screw you, Rob Drake. Screw you for sucking at your job. Screw you for being a garbage human being. And an especially big screw you for being a maggot. Ugh. All right. Not going to get into politics, but yeah. Screw you. All right. That's wow. Yeah, this has been a really long episode. But you know what? It's okay. We had fun. You guys had fun, hopefully. We had an awesome surprise message in the mailbag. Seriously, Mina, come on the show. I can't promise that I will be able to speak, but I'm sure my co-host will pick up the slack. Whew. All right, everybody. That's all we got for you. I promise. Yeah, don't forget to catch us live almost every Sunday on YouTube, Twitter, and on demand anytime at Linktree/Eighth Inning Stretch. Follow us at Eighth Inning Pod on Twitter. And for more, including our newsletter/blog, Two Strike Count, which you can get delivered right to your inbox every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday by subscribing. And our original documentary series, The Book of Baseball, head to eighth-inningpod.com. Don't forget, new episode of Book of Baseball drops May 17th. And help us support the show by using the QR code on your screen or eighth-inningpod.com/donate. And if you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. So we're off next week. So everybody have a happy Mother's Day. Go out and celebrate, have a great time celebrating mom. And then we'll be back with you guys on the 19th. But in the meantime, keep an eye out for Two Strike Count. And as always, take care of yourselves and take care of each other.